Hello, cheese lovers. Welcome to A Cheese Course, where we ruminate on what we love while we eat what stinks, in a good way. I'm your host, Adam J. Moskowitz. Those two hunks are my cheesemongers, Tommy and Alex, and today my guest is Barry X. Ball. Barry X. Ball is a world-renowned contemporary artist bringing to life modern antiquities. He is an original contemporary who reinvents sculpture, coupling centuries-old wisdom and pioneering experiment. His work is evocative, dramatic, and powerful, pushing the boundaries of material, tools, and technology, creating art that is both astonishingly new and old.
More cheese, more cheese. I love cheese, you love cheese. When two love cheese, we eat more cheese. I love cheese, more cheese, more cheese.
Welcome.
Great to be here.
How you feeling today?
Fantastic. When I smell cheese, I am in a good mood.
Great, so you like cheese?
I love it.
Wonderful. You know how I know you love cheese? Your intake form. Barry likes Gruyere, Challerhocker, Tome-style Roquefort, Stilton, Gorgonzola, especially the runny type, Epoisse, Saint-Félicien, Sainte-Maure, Taleggio, and when you're in Italy, you pick up a couple kilos of Parmesan Reggiano at the Autogrill Strada. When you're rattling off cheese like this, I know you're gonna enjoy a cheese course. Today's theme is the imperfect cheese plate, because what is perfect? Does perfect even exist? And so I ask you this because I'm fascinated by your art. Fascinated by it. And I'm wondering, for our audience, how would you define your art?
I'm doing what artists have done forever, is starting with looking at the work of their forebears, of other artists. We all are confronted with the historical pile of info we have, plus the real world. We're connected through all of that. And I think my goal is to get us out of this 21st century bubble and bring the larger world that stretches back for thousands of years, that unites us all, into what I do.
Speaking of unify, you know what also unifies? Cheese.
Cheese. Let's eat cheese.
Something sweet and syrup-like on the top with some seed-like things.
Yeah, that looks like sawdust. Looks like they put sawdust on it. We got a geotrichum wrinkle. I'm guessing it's a circle, so it feels French. And then there's maybe some mint in it. Guys, what do we got?
The first cheese that we're presenting to you guys is Sainte-Maure, which is a fantastic Loire Valley gem that was born, I think, in the 9th century. So they've been making it forever. It is a testament to the terroir of that river valley that flows all the way inland on the western side of France. Just a age-old thing that you can't get rid of, and very ash-ripened at that. So bring down the acidity of that capric acid in the goat cheese.
You're super close. It's not sawdust, it's actually chamomile, so dusted to a very fine powder. The sweetness that you have accompanying the goat cheese is gonna be a chestnut honey. So a little nuttier, more aromatic, has almost the same kind of grassy tone as the chamomile. Fresh mint to really brighten it up and really bring some of that like herbal quality to the full pairing. But for us, the Sainte-Maure is really nice and mineral. It's chalky in texture and a little bit more tangy and bright towards the finish. So we're adding sweetness and we're adding an herbal quality to really round out the full pairing. And then the vegetable ash on the outside, along with the geotrichum rind, will actually add a little bit of pepperiness. So the sweetness will hopefully help temper that down, making it really nice and very palatable. So this is kind of the first amuse-bouche into your flavor journey.
Cheers. Oh, that mint is smart. The goat hits.
It's amazing. The honey.
I almost want more of the honey.
Yeah, but
it's there. It's nice. Same with the chamomile. Is it the chamomile or the mint? I'm like not even sure.
That's called harmony.
Thanks, wise ass. Ideas. Explain that to me as it relates to art.
You know, if you look at the whole sweep of art history, there was a purpose to almost everything that was done. You didn't have to tell Renaissance artists what to do. They knew what to do. There was a prescribed number of subjects, church and royalty was a lot of it. We get to the 20th century, and especially photography was a big turning point. The purpose of art and the skill of the artist has kind of been taken away. And instead of saying, well, this is sad, a lot of the radical artists at the beginning of the 20th century said, we've been liberated.
Huh.
Probably my single favorite artist is Marcel Duchamp. What he said was, art is in the head, not the hand. The ultimate illustration of that would be in his work is the famous ready-mades, the most famous of which is the urinal. He basically took a wall-mounted urinal, stuck it on a pedestal. That's it. The pure act of connoisseurship, of selecting something and taking it out of its world, the bathroom wall, and moving it into this other world, the museum world, and putting it on a pedestal makes us look at that object in a completely different way.
So that begs the question of what makes art? What is art? Like the whole banana taped to a wall,
Yeah.
Is that art?
Yeah, I love the spirit of Maurizio Cattelan and what he's doing. That to me gets closer to the guys from the early 20th century that I admire so much.
But the idea is great, but what about the process, the practice? Like your process, succinctly, your art creative process: 3D digital scanning, virtual modeling, 3D printing, CNC milling, and then traditional hand carving, detailing, and polishing.
Yeah, to the tune of several thousand hours per work. The handwork at the end of all of those advanced processes.
How long does it take you to make a work?
I've got I just have a piece right now up at Phillips, the auction house, in a private viewing room that took 12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's eat cheese.
I don't even. What are we?
Some fish on the top.
Right. That's not tinfoil.
And below that is a disc of what? We've got obviously a slice through the pepperoncini.
Yeah. And I'm guessing Manchego. Guys, what do we got?
So this is 1605 Manchego.
Bing, bing, bing.
Nailed it.
This comes from Jose Luis Martin's farm in La Mancha, made from Manchega sheep's milk. Maria Jose Gonzalez, the cheesemaker, hoops these wheels under the whey so that they have a really great natural rind on it. But this really captures the essence of the terroir and the land in La Mancha by the sheep grazing on all of these fresh pasture. They pool milk for 3 days to make this cheese. So what we prefer in terms of flavor profiles is Wednesday and Friday wheels. They're more like lemony brioche tones as opposed to Monday wheels, which the milk has to sit an extra day. So it gets just a little bit more nutty and deeper in flavor.
Wednesday and Friday for Barry X Ball. No Monday milk up in this motherfucker.
Only the best.
Only the best. I love it.
This cheese is a sheep's milk cheese, which has a little bit a higher fat content in terms of the milk quality. So it's really rich and really densely fatty. So we kind of took an inspiration for pinchos, or a little like tapas style that you really get in that sort of cityscape of Spain. So we have a nice olive on the bottom, green olive that's been sliced thin.
What kind of olive?
It is
A Gordal.
a Gordal. So much bigger in size, a little bit more meatier. Then you have on top of that is a sardine with lemon, and it's lightly smoked. So you get a little bit of citrus, a little bit of earthiness, and then that really rich umami flavor. Then we have a pepperoncini to brighten it all up, a little lemon zest and thyme on top just for aromatics. And so together you're gonna be transported to Spain.
How does this look?
Beautiful.
Yes. The gaminess of the sheep plays so well with the verbosity of of the fish, but the fish is not, you would expect it to be overbearing. Right.
Especially with the sardine, which we all know is kind of like that pizza topping that's very salty and intense. Really good sardines are really good.
Did that look like art?
Maybe not art, but something else almost equal to art.
So what is art? Like that's what I'm fascinated about understanding is like, what is art? Are art movements a period in time? Are art movements an intention? Are art movements a collective of artists deciding on a singular mission?
The lumping together into movements is a little bit ex post facto. Somebody trying to make sense of history.
Got it. That makes sense to me because when I was researching you, I'm like to me, you're avant-garde because you're innovative and experimental. You're Bauhaus for materials and function. You're Dadaism for shocking, Expressionism for exaggeration, Neo-Impressionism for science, Precisionism for finishing, Surrealism. So like what art movement do you think they're going to categorize you with?
Even when I moved to New York, I was influenced by lots that was going around me of the time, but never wanted to be part of the work that had affected me. I wanted to make my own path.
Which is startling to me. So you moved to New York, you graduate college, you moved to New York, you're an artist, but also a messenger. Do I understand that correctly?
Yeah, so everybody has their side job.
Of course, no, you gotta hustle. No, but what's interesting is that from what I read, you purposely chose a hustle that kept you independent and sort of isolated, and like you even your delivery van didn't even have a radio. Like you were intent on being in solitude.
Yeah.
Why?
I felt that this was a serious place, and I needed to treat this whole endeavor of making art seriously. And I remember I ordered the Nissan pickup, purposely without a radio, just so that I would be thinking.
What were you thinking about?
Everything from how I was going to set up my studio to the works I was going to make. I'd have a notebook with me, and driving alone between the airports in New York City, thinking, and then when I'd get to the delivery, I'd have a few moments to write down my thoughts in a notebook. And I was also living in a loft with no running water for 3 years.
Wow.
I decided I was needed to be by myself to really get things together. And like I said, I had a job in the middle of the night, so I couldn't go to any parties if I wanted to. It was almost purposely antisocial.
Where does ego play in art? And like, you want to be alone, but you're creating something that you want to share. So like, it just seems like such an odd juxtaposition between isolation, but then ubiquity.
I wasn't thinking about sharing my work with other people. I was there to make something that satisfied me.
Love it. Okay.
I actually didn't show my work to anybody for probably 7, 8 years.
Wow.
And those were great years. I mean, I never viewed it as a hardship that I didn't have a bathroom. I was high on life here.
I don't read it as a hardship. I actually read it as like a very Buddhist, very top of the mountain, strip away all the things that are irrelevant so you could really be focused on what your intent and purpose is. Which leads me to like you escaping the wall and going to the center of the room. Can you, for my audience, kind of talk about your evolution from being a painter to a sculptor?
I was looking at painting, and the first things I made went on a wall, and then I wanted to kind of show off the back. So we started hanging them in a way so you could had clues to the back on the sides. And then I started making them perpendicular to the wall so you could see both sides. And then I started suspending them in front of a wall. So you see there's this inevitable movement from on the wall out in the middle of the room. And by the mid-1990s, I made my first works were officially sculptures. There was nothing liquid spread on them.
Okay.
But they grew really linearly out of this progression.
Cheese. Let's eat cheese.
Do you actually shave the cheese that way?
Yeah, so the face itself, I'm shaving it with the rind intact as well. So the drier side of the rind is gonna be a little bit more brittle and wavy. And then once you get into the paste, it gets much smoother.
So what do we got, guys?
This is Challerhocker from Sainte-Maure.
My favorite cheese.
Yeah. This is done by Walter Ross and his wife Anneliese, who make a truly avant-garde Appenzeller style. Really nice thermized cow's milk, just truly a testament to their craft.
And pronounced like Larry David with a hair caught in his throat. Challerhocker. And what do you do to it, Alex?
All right, so to mirror the shape here, we have manifolds of flavor. So on the bottom, we have a teriyaki seaweed chip. Give it a little bit of like the sweet and also umami sense that really mirrors with the cheese itself. Then on the top, we have Fly By Jing chili crisp. So chili crisp is a bunch of different seeds and nuts and also oil and a little bit of chili spice. So this one is the mild version because we didn't want to up the heat too much, but we wanted to add some crunch and add a little bit of that warmth to it. And then to finish, just a light chive to bring it into the sort of grassy, nice pastured feel. So this is really playing on the light airiness of something that's very densely umami and rich.
Did you say manifolds of flavor?
Manifolds of flavor.
Manifolds of flavor. Got it.
Extraordinary. Do we want to fold it up when we eat it? Do we want to just try to slide it in and get as much surface area exposed as possible in your mouth?
I think you can fold it up.
I think you gotta fold it up.
The beauty of this plate is anything goes. So really, as long as you eat it, we're happy.
Oh my God. I didn't think I was gonna like the seaweed.
I knew you would.
The heat's nice.
Balanced,
It's, yeah.
friendly.
The whole thing is balanced. It has the seaweed there, the brininess is there, the like subtle fishiness, but it's not overwhelming, and the heat kind of puts it like in a headlock a little bit.
Yeah, keeps
Holds
it in
it?
check. It's almost like the way acidity will cut through fat, the heat is also going to do something similar with the salt and sort of the balance there of the richness.
I love it when he sounds smart like that.
And the inclusion of peanut really
both do.
complements the washing of the rind on this cheese. So the nice Brevibacterium linens that you're getting after the washing process really taste peanutty. So the fact that this chili crisp has peanuts in it is fantastic.
You're my peanut. You're my little peanut, Tommy. What did you think? How does that taste to you?
Yeah, this whole concept of multiple flavors I'm into, layering. I mean, I've basically been eating cheese just by itself.
Yeah, most people do. That's why I'm making this show. The pieces that you did that have like what look like insect legs. Mm-hmm. And it's like I think there's like a reverseness to it. It's like almost like an alien robot, like bug extravaganza.
Yeah, you're talking about the mirrored
Yes.
dual sick men in the hospital.
Yes.
Which was originally intended, if I had finished it in time, to be kind of a pandemic monument. It started with a scan of a work by Medardo Rosso, who's an artist not so familiar to most people, but now is kind of having a breakthrough moment. He was a late 19th, early 20th century Italian.
What's wild about your work is it feels like what's meant to support it is also art. And is like the support is part of the art.
The art world has come up with a convention, which is, I don't want to think about a pedestal or a base. I only want to focus on the sculpture, which means that all pedestals out in the art world are boring boxes.
Yeah.
Usually painted with a roller white. Even if you go to the Metropolitan Museum, a place that's so important to me, and you see Greek and Roman heads, they're on a MDF box painted with a roller.
Come on, Metropolitan. You're better than that.
Yeah.
Come on. Sorry. Call Barry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Exactly. So, I mean, there have been artists who played with the pedestal and integrated it in For the sculpture, the most famous probably would be Brancusi, who made his own bases, and they were almost an extension of the sculpture above into the pedestal below.
Yep.
The opposite was the American minimalists who wanted to get rid of the pedestal, so they'd show a box sitting on the floor.
Okay.
So I've been playing with pedestals and gotten a lot of flack because I don't follow the de rigueur convention, which is the boring box, so we don't look at it.
But speaking of the flack, you're also like going out and scanning all these amazing, like old classic sculpture pieces.
So I've been lucky enough to have friends in the art world, friends in high places who get me access to extraordinary historical works of art, primarily in Europe. And so I've scanned, for example, the famous Sleeping Hermaphrodite, which is Greek, Roman, Bernini, etc., in the Louvre. Michelangelo's last work, the Pietà Rondanini in Castello Sforzesco in Milano, Italy.
Wow. I just don't understand. It's like the French people let you into this American guy, Barry Exball, come in with his crack team of digital scanners, and they're scanning like this art is priceless, I assume?
It is. So here's my sales pitch to them. I don't touch the object. It's not destructive in any way. It's light.
But you will make a replica and sell it as it's the real one, no?
Well, I guess there was some trust there that I wasn't going to make tchotchkes and merch out of it. I also say that I'm going to pay for this, which is an expensive process. You have to bring a team of people in there with their equipment, and I'm going to give you a scan. And scans are useful for museums.
Why?
The most important example I can use in New York is there's a famous sculpture by Tullio Lombardo that had the pedestal collapse at the Metropolitan Museum.
Oh,
it
shit.
Shattered into hundreds, if not thousands of pieces on the floor.
Because they're doing crap-ass supports, right?
Well, I don't know what happened there. Yeah. Not only was it ugly, it wasn't very structurally sound. And they long restoration process, they put this thing back together. If they had had a scan of that sculpture, they would have made their job easy. So I'm like giving a tool to the museums.
Where does these scans meet or become art and not copies?
Well, they're fairly rough. Even with the most advanced scanners, we have to then go at it with digital sculpting programs and perfect it. And in the process, I'm changing. I'm not just representing, making all kinds of subtle modifications which become part of my original creation. So it's not only indebted to the past, but I've taken it to a new place.
Which is what art does,
Yeah.
right? Like you go to the famous spot like he did, and then you paint it. Are you copying him, or are you interpreting it?
If you go to the Metropolitan Museum, sometimes you'll see somebody at an easel copying.
Totally.
There's interpretation from the get-go. It's not an objective scientific process. It's this artist, as much as they may be trying to copy the original, they're putting their own spin on it. The example I always use is at the Kimball in Fort Worth, Texas. We have Michelangelo's first painting, and it's a copy after Martin Schongauer's The Temptation of St. Anthony. So Michelangelo from the get-go is copying an earlier artist, only he made a painting. The other one was an etching. Made an original work of art that's all Michelangelo, that has enough difference that it becomes something completely new, but started with a copy.
As I studied you and learned more about movements, it seems like a lot of the art movements, a lot of these artists like sat together, hung out, were in like a clique, a crew. Like it seems like Duchamp and his brother, they would all like talk about the art and in fact impact each other, I would assume, in so doing.
Yeah, well, Picasso and Braque are the two that were developing Cubism together. They obviously, if they didn't have dialogue, they were looking at each other's work.
100%. That is the dialogue, though, sometimes.
And pretty soon, is it original? We are all composites. We are creatures of everything we've ever experienced and seen. And if you're going to hang out with an artist doing this thing, and then you do a thing in response, and they do something in response to you, there definitely are real organic movements created that way. It isn't just the ex post facto creation of an art historian trying to make a pattern apparent. There was real influence going on.
Today, with the work that you're creating, who are you dialoguing with?
I got to tell you, I built this big studio. There's such a visual splendor there. Through the places I exhibit, I'm looking at historical works. I'm not hanging out with my fellow contemporary artists, which is sad for me because I really like artists and I like seeing what they do. But there's just a lot of internal stimulation going on, and
well, that's what I was trying to get to. What I think you're dialoguing with Ronan, with Michelangelo.
Yeah.
And I wonder, what does that feel like?
The fact that I'm working with the greatest art that's ever been done and riffing on that and then getting to show mine alongside of it, I mean, it's a dream come true. Life is good.
Cheese. Let's eat cheese.
More fish?
Or do you think?
No,
or
mushrooms?
Maybe mushrooms.
Yeah, I'm thinking mushrooms. All right, guys, what do we got?
So this is Paesanella. This is from Ceresa, a really great family in northern Italy. And this cheese style, which is a washed rind style, sort of stems the bridge between Taleggio and Stracchino styles. Really nice development on the rind, so you're getting that sort of peanuttiness to it. You're gonna get a better creaminess, but bouncier than Taleggio would be.
And our pairing really playing off the earthiness of the cheese as well as the yeasty character. So for me, the first dish that I think of when I taste this cheese is risotto. And so for us, we did rehydrated mushrooms. So I boiled those in a chicken stock with some onions and herbs to reconstitute the mushrooms. So they actually have a little toothier texture, but really rich and umami flavor. That's brodo as well, and the broth in the bottom there, just to give it a little extra roundness. We have on top a polenta cracker that's from Effie's. They're polenta oat cake that's been crumbled for a little extra crunch and texture to really mimic what's really happening on the rind, which is a light crystallization of minerals. And then to top, to just give a little bit of that aromatics, rosemary.
And Ceresa, their facility for aging and caring for these cheeses is right at the base of the waterfall that Leonardo sketched in his codex. And that's where they get all of their water to purify and then wash their cheeses with. Oyster rules apply.
Wow, once again, the umami on this one is absolutely insane.
It's the dried mushrooms. They really add this extra layer that you don't get normally with a fresh mushroom.
No, but it also there's a seaworthiness to it as well that's unexpected.
And that comes exactly from the brine washing of the cheese. So just like the Challerhocker and also other Alpine styles and washed rind cheeses, they're using a saltwater brine. It's about 3% salt, so it's not like half as salty as the ocean. And what you do get are bacterial constituents similar to oceanic bacterium. So you do get some of the almost saline qualities without the fishiness.
That was an amazing one. This was really good.
Thank you.
Nice job, guys.
You've just actually embarked on a very big architectural project. You want to speak a little bit to your studio?
I wanted to build a studio from the ground up, and I was lucky enough to find a parcel of land in beautiful Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and embarked on a 12-year project to build...
12 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bought the property in 2011. We officially finished in 2023.
And what's in there? You have a lot of your raw material?
Yeah.
How much raw material do you have at any given time?
Hundreds of tons of stone.
Hundreds of stone. Now, how many different types of stone?
I could say 100 types of stone.
From how many continents?
All over the world. I've been collecting it for almost 30 years. It was in all kinds of repositories: Italy, Connecticut, New Jersey, California, Mexico, and I brought everything I own to Greenpoint.
And then also you play with robots? Do I understand that correctly?
Yes.
Yeah, tell us a little about your robot.
The final step of completing the studio was getting the robot in, but I, again, was one of the first artists to use CNC, which is computer numerically controlled milling machines, as a critical step in the making of sculpture. I mean, robots are more or less the latest iteration. They're anthropomorphic. They have a shoulder and an elbow and a wrist, and mine has 7 axes. And in machine language, we call this 1 axis, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the table turning is 7. And those are all going simultaneously right now. It's not like pressing print and having the stone sculpture pop out.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who thinks it's just pressing print is a idiot. So how long does the robot mill for?
This is a bust-size sculpture, so imagine you this big up. That'll be on there a month straight, 24/7.
That is insane.
And we have a tool changer. It picks up the next size tool.
Does your robot have a name?
No.
What?
Well, actually, we called it the, as in the robot.
So the robot works, no naps. You don't give it even a cigarette break, which is a little up, but that's fine. It only has 1 arm, so I guess it can't smoke a cigarette. And then the real work begins, no?
Yeah.
Which is?
Hand carving with dental tools. The shop sounds like a dentist's office. A lot of wee with little diamond burrs. Yeah, I'm after an intensity of finish.
Do mistakes happen there?
They can.
Okay.
But we have now ways to blend multiple stone blocks together. People always have this mistaken idea if a stone sculptor slipped and knocked off the toe, that it's ruined and they have to start again. Believe me, for thousands of years, they've figured out how to glue stone back together. So that whole myth is a myth.
It feels like there's a lot of myths.
Yeah, and I like to play with those then. So this idea of blending Mexican onyx with golden honeycomb calcite with French red marble and making him look like one extraordinary natural specimen when really it's a combo is something we've been doing lately.
Which is my next question, this idea of like subtractive versus additive.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of sculpting is subtractive, but then your recent piece for the Prince Albert was it more additive, if I understand it correctly?
I always felt like with stone, we're working on the outside of a mass. And first step I took was to try to destroy the mass. If you see a Roman figure with his arm out, there's literally often a marble prop that was sculpted in there. Michelangelo's David has a tree growing up his back leg to kind of strengthen him. Stone has its limitations. We've tried our best to penetrate and weave space and object together, but I viewed this commission as a way to generate a sculpture additively from the core out. I'm not working on the outside of a mass. I'm actually generating it from the interior to the exterior. So, I used this elaborate process of 3D printing in wax instead of in plastic, and then using classic lost wax casting techniques, which means, basically you build a shell of ceramic around the outside of your wax thing, you heat it in an oven, the wax melts out, and you replace it with
24 karat gold.
Yeah, in this case, yeah.
Cheese. Let's eat cheese.
Okay, we got little atomizers, so we're gonna spritz something here, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I think we're doing a mushroom again. This time it's solid and it looks like ice cream and a walnut with some perfume. What do we got, guys?
So what we have here is almost better than ice cream, is Rogue River blue cheese.
Ooh!
This is a cheese that is wrapped in Syrah grape leaves that they soak and macerate in a pear eau de vie, like a pear brandy. The flavor of it is so complemented by the alcohol because it's going to leave a lot of the fruity notes of the pear, a lot of the things that the blue cheese doesn't have on its own.
Yep.
So it's almost like a pairing in itself, but we've kicked it up a notch a little bit.
Yeah, so for this pairing, since the cheese already has like flavors kind of intermingling with the cheese, we're thinking about texture and aroma here. So on the bottom, it is a dried apple, a manzanita apple, very thinly cut there. And then we have the candied walnut. That adds a little textural crunch, a little bit of woodsiness, earthiness, kind of playing with the Syrah leaves. And then the mister there is really for an aromatic. I was really impressed with your conversation today, and I really wanted you to engage with the pairing and the last sort of scene here, because it's sort of how you engage with art. So this spritz is a nice light vanilla that's cut with some water there to really dampen the intensity of the sort of alcohol vibe, but really give you this floral, bright, and sweetness that kind of mimics the shape of the ice cream cone there. So
I put it in my mouth.
Spritz it first. Spritz the aroma. You're gonna be immersed in the aroma.
In the air, not on the cheese itself.
As if you're like going to perfume a dog.
Oh shit!
You went a little too intense. Yeah, just one or two is good.
It's kind of vanilla-like, that smell.
Oh, I love it. Holy moly, dude! You guys are animals. God, what do you think?
I love the big quantity of blue in my mouth.
Me too.
This is not fooling around with a little blue cheese sauce on something. This is like...
Exactly. We were debating whether or not you guys could handle it, but after the other courses, I think we came hard with the blue.
This ain't no bust. This is like full body. You know?
And is it a domestic producer, these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only cheese from America to win Best Cheese in the World at the World Cheese Awards.
Today's theme is the imperfect cheese plate. There's thousands of cheeses. Everybody loves cheese. So what are you gonna bring to the party? Right? You can't bring them all. And so I believe that it starts with what you love, but there's also some rules, right? There's cow, sheep, goat milk. So you wanna try to hit all three milks. There's multiple countries, right? France, Germany, Italy, Switzerland. There's multiple manufacturing technologies, right? There's blue, there's Alpine, there's Geotrichum, Fresh Chev. So the point I'm making is there's no such thing as a perfect cheese plate. The perfect cheese plate is the imperfect cheese plate, and the imperfect cheese plate should be comprised of cheese you love. Go to a cheesemonger, ask them what's tasting good, start tasting cheese, and when you hit a cheese that is snackable and you're like, this is good, then you start building around that, because that's where the beauty is. What today was your favorite?
God, I look back on this, and these are all extraordinary. I have to say, artistically, the funkiness of this one.
Okay. Wait, artistically, are you saying that this might be art?
You know, hey, who am I to denigrate what's been done here? It's done at a super high level. I acknowledge that. So,
But is it art?
well,
What is art?
could be. It doesn't last so long.
What the funk? Rapid fire questions. Best cheese to bring to a party?
Boy, the Challerhocker is incredible.
Best cheese to put on a grilled cheese?
Maybe craft American or one of the new artisanal American styles.
Best cheese when stranded on a desert island?
If it lasts, Epoisse.
Best cheese, that's a bad answer. Best cheese to put on a, you're on a desert island, you're gonna have a little piece of Epoisse, you're gonna be so hungry within like an hour. You're dead on the island. Best cheese to put on a burger?
I do like cheddar.
If you were a cheese, what would you be and why?
What is the most complex cheese on earth? My God.
I think what's most amazing about you and your work is that as your dedication to art, but your dedication to the rabbit holes of where your art take you, whether it's cabinet making, whether it's stone collecting, whether it's robotics and technology, your persistent exploration of the medium and the media, and your dedication to being best in class and beyond time is something I find deeply inspiring, and I'm very grateful that you came here and ate some cheese with me. So thank you very much.
It was a hell of an invitation. I am so glad that we got together and did this. So thanks, Adam.
And out there to all y'all, make sure you check out Barry X Ball. His works will blow your mind. And always remember, eat more cheese, please.
Let's eat cheese. I love cheese. You love cheese. Let's eat cheese. I love cheese. I love cheese. You love cheese. Let's eat cheese. Let's eat cheese.